So, have you ever considered this? That life is a video game. Have you ever considered that? Look at the word video game. So it's video, which through your eyes, some may have noticed that what you see is a 3D holographic projection. What you see is a video, just like how a video camera works. In game, where the definition of a game is you succeed or fail. That's the basic definition of a game. But there is a definition for success and a definition for failure. So life is a video game. But what's the difference between video games that we play on our Xboxes, computer games, iPad games, Game Boys, whatever electronic equipment that you know of? What's the difference between that and life as a video game? The only difference is that life as a video game is a real video game, and that the electronic video games are not real. They're not real video games. Okay? So, you know this because they're not reality. They are a simulation of reality. How and why? Because whatever happens in the game won't have any effects on your life. Will it? If you beat a game, if you play a game, you're not actually changing or contributing or affecting your real life as a video game, are you? That's why you say it's not real. And when you look at this point, what's really interesting is that you'll see that the reason that we play video games on our equipment is because we're actually trying to look for a sense of success that we haven't found in our real life. And that shows, I'm speaking both from my experience, and you can just look at this point of, like, you can see how, for example, there's this trend of people, if you play video games, you'll notice that there are a lot of simulation games that simulate life. They simulate having a job, marrying, having kids, or maybe they simulate being a hero or saving people, being good, doing good things. So we have more and more games that are simulating real life, and doesn't that just show us that what we really want, what our true desire is to have success in our real life, in the real video game? Isn't that what that's showing? That our obsession with wanting to simulate life through a video game. And that shows that point clearly, that we desire success in our lives. And like I'm looking at my personal experience, that the only reason why, I play video games because it gave me that sense of change, of actually maybe doing something, even though it's fake, it gave me that simulation. And you look at my life experience, did my life change from first grade to second grade from 6 years old to 7 years old, to 8 years old, to 9 years old, to 10th grade, to 11th grade, into high school, to college. No, my life never changed. Every year was exactly the same. I had the exact same experience in myself. So these video games which provide you simulation, which can compress what seems like days into minutes or hours, giving you a false sense of reality, but within that simulating reality and simulating the success that you wish and want in your life, the change that is wanted, that is needed, that is desired. So that's quite an interesting point that is why we're so obsessed with video games. Now let's extend the word video game and look at music as a video game. A simulation of reality where you have love songs that simulate this great love, this great magical partner is not simulated within a love song. And movies as well. Don't movies just simulate, like a video game, the reality that you would like to have? To be the hero, to save people, to have riches, be glorified, find glory. And you'll see this, that all of our entertainment is about simulating that desire for change, simulating our dreams. And even when we go to sleep, what do? We hope, we want that magnificent dream, that great feeling in that dream. The same point, the exact same thing. And you don't have to look at electronics, Look back 100 years ago when we didn't have movies, TV, or video games. You'll see the same point existed throughout history since the beginning. That we've always been using simulations. And what is our greatest source for a simulation? Can you name it? Can you answer that question? The greatest source of our simulation is our own minds. And we simulate our desires in our minds, imagining as if they're true, and feeling the feelings that go along with imagination to give that imagination of picture components some sort of value attached, some sort of substance attached to it. So that's what we do. That's what we've done for thousands of years. And what's interesting is that you have, let's say, the not real video game, the not real, which is a simulation, which you can call a deception. That's what it is. And we do it in our minds. Now, like I said before, life is a video game. Your eyes are a simulation. Your body is a simulation of, the senses. We don't really know for sure what is here. We don't have access to that. So, if you look at this point, if you were to embrace that life is a video game, so instead of spending time in your mind, in movies, in TV shows, video games, music, within the starting point of trying to simulate your desires, try to experience feelings to give those simulations substance, to instead dedicate time in this real life simulation, in this real life video game, to actually put in the time, the effort, the dedication, as you would in any endeavor you've taken on, to actually make it real, So instead of a desire simply being within a simulation within your mind, that you actually make it real in this real life video game. How about that crazy idea, huh? Who would be crazy enough to do that? And you'll see the ones, there are only a few, a handful, or I don't know how many, but it's very rare. But those people who are aware of that, who realize that, what do? They actually do make their dreams real. Now there's two components to this, of course, because there's the understanding that life is real, that your life, you can actually make it do something, and with that, it can either be a point of still treating it like not real, because perhaps you see your afterlife, heaven, to be what's real, to be what's important. You can still have success in this life, putting the time and effort, but ultimately, your vision of what's real is in your death, in heaven, with Christ or God or whatever religion you have. So, you have that simulation, and you also have the possibility of simply seeing what is here as completely 100% what is real. And so this real life video game, this real life simulation, you can achieve success in you. Because in real life, how many lives do you have? You have one life. You don't have 3 lives like in a video game. You only have one shot at this. In a video game, you can type in code and change the rules and use cheat codes. In real life, does that exist? No. Real life takes time. It's real. It's not a simulation of something else that's real, is it? That's what we call video games. So, if we were to treat this life as real and make this count, what would happen? Well, the best outcome that would happen would be that you would actually achieve exactly what it is that you're busy trying to create, to make real. That would be the best thing that would happen, wouldn't it? Will that ever happen if you're busy in a simulation of reality? No, of course not. Because we would have to actually spend time in reality to make things happen in reality. You won't have any effect on reality if you're in a simulation of false video game of reality. That's funny because you have the false video game and the real video game. The false video game, which is a simulation of what's real, and the real video game, which is one that we live daily in the moment. This video holographic projection where you can define your success. This open-ended world, multiplayer, free-formed world of economics, of money, world of structures and systems, of peoples and groups, clans and cultures, knights and warriors, I guess heroes you can call them if you want, armies, battles, wars, death, disease, pain, suffering, torture, the people who are powerless, who are in suffering, the people who have so much power, so much money they don't know what to do with, Aren't those themes we explore within all of our simulations? Yet, it's here. It's here in this real-life video game. You can see it. I mean, we spend so much time within our entertainment looking at these things. Yet, all we have to do is look right here. It's already here. We're already in the greatest, biggest, and the most real video game that could ever exist. This entire simulation, I suppose. Now, what is it simulating? What is this world projecting? If not, the very things that exist within us. It's quite interesting. So the question is, are you a programmer? Are you a player? What are you in it for? Are you in it to win it? What's your goal? What do you want to do? What's your plan? What will you do with your one life? And you only have one. I mean, if you're an avid video game player, wouldn't that make you excited, I suppose? And to speak from my own experience as a video game player, I only play video games so I can have that feeling of success that wasn't occurring in my life, without realizing that I actually had to create what I wanted to actually make it real. So, if I would assume then, project my own experience onto you as a video game player, that you would be very much resistant. Because what is the resistance projected towards? Towards reality. Towards the real life video game. Because what is happening in the real life video game? Failure. What is that failure? Not getting what you want. Not getting what you desire. Whether it be being sociable, getting good grades, being wealthy, earning money, having a job, whatever it may be, having a relationship. If you look at your life and that's not there, what you desire, you'll feel resistance, wouldn't you? And that is when we go into our entertainments, our distractions. So that explains why I did that, and why others do that as well. That resistance to look at what is here. And let me tell you, if you were to ever be aware of what's here, I mean, that's how you would actually change it, wouldn't it? You can't blindly walk around in the dark, not knowing or not seeing exactly what it is that you want to change, and then still believe that you can change it, right? To change something, to make something happen, to form, create, shape, morph it, requires you to use your eyes to look and see what it is you're changing with your hands, with your body. Now that would be a pretty exciting video game, wouldn't it? To be able to morph, change, have the life that you want, have the kind of experiences that you want, and to actually, do it. That would be really interesting, I would say, to see. To also be aware that this is not a secret. At least very few people have known this. They've created great empires, great corporations, great businesses, made lots of money through hard work, through dedication, through time. And so they simply applied themselves in this real life video game. And there's even people who have overcome great obstacles to do that. So the question is then, what are you committed to? What game are you playing? What's your objective? What is your end goal? So yeah, I guess I'll see you other players out there in this video game called life. Let's make it happen. We all know that we don't want war. We don't want to kill. So let's just make it exactly how we want it. And exactly the points that we can all agree upon. Because we all do have common ground when it comes to such simplistic points. And you'll see we're not that different after all. Okay, so bye.